CLNSradio.com, the home of Internet Sports Talk Radio.
Remember back when Glenn Davis was at LSU, he was another heavy-set guy with decent post moves, but I'm not getting the hype about Jared Bollinger.
No, he's not for real, and I don't think Big Baby's for real either.
But he's still one of the better six men in the league, and a couple years ago, if you question his athleticism, I agree with you. The guy looked like he did an In-N-Out burger before, during, and after every game. He
looked like he took them in, but I don't know where I don't see any of them coming out. I'm just in shock at something like this. I mean, this is absurd to me. If she is going to do it, it's just, it's really strange and absurd to me. I mean, I almost am a loss for words with this one, and I'm not for a loss of too many things in my life. I just find it very strange that a college woman wants to now become a man and still wants to play on the women's team.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, look, this girl feels like she's a man and feels like she should be a man, and, fine, whatever. What if I say that, wow, I feel like I still have the maturity level of a 16, 17-year-old boy, I should be allowed to play high school basketball?
All right, everybody. Welcome back to yet another edition of Technically Speaking. I am Mike Munger, a.k.a. the Scotsman from the Return to the Rafters Celtics Championship DVD, and I am joined again, of course, by my friend and former NBA official and author of Personal Foul, Tim Donaghy. Tim, what's going on, man?
What's happening, Mike? Everything's heating up out there in the sports world. We got a lot of things cooking.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a great show tonight. We got basically the playoff races in baseball. You got 4 games going on right now. They're going to have key playoff implications. Just to give anybody out there an update, Red Sox are up 1-0 on Baltimore in the bottom of the 3rd inning. It looks like the Yankees are up 5-0 on Tampa Bay down there in the 2nd inning. I guess it was a grand slam by Mark Teixeira. So it's looking pretty good if you're a Red Sox fan right now. I believe the Braves and the Phillies were tied 1-1. And I'm not sure if the Cardinals game has started yet. I haven't checked, but four key games going on right there. We're also going to talk about this NBA lockout. It looks like things are starting to heat up just a little bit, where we may know one way or another, either by the end of this week or by the end of next week, whether or not we're going to have a season. A lot of posturing still going on, but it looks like some agreements are close to happening. We got 2 guys that I can't stand. We're definitely going to talk about later in the show, and that's Michael Vick being a crybaby and Tony Romo being absolutely overrated and slurped on by the media again. It's so disgusting the way that John Gruden was acting towards him. It was borderline unprofessional. So we're definitely going to get to that. We're also going to be joined by Danny B here in a few minutes to talk baseball. And one more thing, and Tim, I'll let you go into it a little bit, but there was an article you did. Basically, it looked like you were comparing the way NFL refs treat certain players, comparing that to the way NBA refs treat certain players. And, it was a well-written article. I didn't agree with some of what you wrote about how Michael Vick gets calls. We'll get into that later, but there was a gentleman that took pop shots at you, basically, kind of attacking your character and stuff. And, it was pretty ridiculous. We're going to get into that, and I'll let you tease that a little bit. But it was, it's one of those things where it's like I'm definitely going to defend you, but at the same time, you and I later on are going to go head-to-head with our opinions on that whole matter.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's going to be a good discussion. We're both in a position where we're taking the opposite sides, which is good. It's great for the listeners, and the bottom line is the writer in Philadelphia who took some shots at me for the blog, is taking some shots at me because it's the easy way out. It's no secret that I made some dumb choices in my past, but it's been well documented, and for him to bring that up, it's an easy thing for him to do. I don't agree with how he came after me, but he did, and that's what you have to do in life when you do some dumb things is take the abuse that it's going to cause you, and that's why those choices that we make are all so important. So it's no big deal. It's all in the sports conversation realm out there, and we're going to discuss it. And I'm looking forward to discussing. I'm looking forward to defending what I put out there. I'm looking forward to stating what the rule says, and not only stating what the rule says, having people go on my Facebook page and look at the play where Michael Vick was hurt, and we have a different opinion on whether a flag should have been thrown or not, and we're going to argue back and forth on it, and I think it's going to make for some good radio.
Oh, absolutely. And, anybody out there listening, you want to join in with Tim Donaghy and myself about any of the topics we're talking about tonight, 347-215-7771. We're live tonight on Ustream also. All you Ustream listeners, please, we'd love to hear from you. We love getting caller interaction. It's always great to hear from the fans and listeners of the show. Real quick update. Now it is Baltimore 2, Boston 1. Just hit a 2-run home run. So here's the deal. If you've been living under a rock, the Red Sox and Tampa Bay Rays are tied right now heading into this last game of the season. If they both lose or if they both win, they play a one-game playoff. I believe it's tomorrow down in Tampa Bay for the right to get into the playoffs. Boston wins, Tampa loses, Boston's in. Tampa wins, Boston loses, Tampa's in. And essentially their playoff fate is going to be decided either tonight or tomorrow. But right now it's still 5-0 Yankees over Tampa Bay, and it is now 2-1 Baltimore over Boston. J.J. Hardy just cracked the home run. So we'll keep giving you guys updates throughout the show. But, Tim, looking at these playoff races in baseball, normally you would think it's exciting seeing it if it was two teams battling it out all year. But in both instances, in the National League and the American League, we have two teams, Boston in the American League and Atlanta in the National League, that have absolutely crumbled down the stretch here in September. I think they said this is the worst month in Major League Baseball history for the Red Sox. And, I mean, this is just out of control. The thing they had a 9-game lead at the beginning of the month. I think Atlanta had an 8-game lead. And now they're battling for their playoff lives. And I want to get your opinions on that. Like, how shocked are you at how much these guys have fallen off? And, I mean, you look at it, yeah, the Yankees blew a 3-0 lead in the playoffs, but what's a worse choke job in your opinion? That 3-0 lead in the playoff series, or 9 games up and essentially going like 6-20 in the month of September?
I would say, a 3-game lead in a playoff series. I mean, you've seen a lot of teams crumble in playoff races in the regular season before, but very rarely do you see a team in any major professional sport that's up 3-0 in a playoff series end up losing that series. It's I would say the closeout percentage is about 90%, even probably a little bit higher in the playoffs. It's just so hard for a team to lose 4 straight games in a playoff series that I would think that Yankee collapse is probably bigger than the collapse of the Boston Red Sox right now. And we've seen Boston started out slow, heated up, and now is also cold again. But they can turn it around just as quickly as they went off the radar here. So I think that they're going to push hard to get in here and try to win the series. Do I see it happening? Probably not. But I'm sure that they're going to try and turn this thing around once they hopefully do get in the playoffs.
All right, I'll put you on the spot real quick. Just looking at the way things are playing out right now, are we going to see a 1-game playoff in the American League with Boston and Tampa Bay? Do you think that we're going to see that 163rd game, or you think Boston or Tampa Bay are going to pull it out tonight?
I think that Boston's probably going to pull it out tonight. It'd be great for baseball, great for the city, to have a 1-game playoff like that. It would stir up certainly a lot of excitement, for Major League Baseball. I can tell you if it was a situation where it could happen in the NBA, the referees would probably make sure it did happen. But it's a situation where I don't see it happening in baseball this year because I think Boston's going to pull it out.
All right, real quick update. The St. Louis-Houston game is just getting ready to kick off. It's top of the first inning over there. And Atlanta now has a 3-1 lead on the Phillies at the top of the 4th. So I'm pretty sure St. Louis is scoreboard watching right now. The Atlanta game is going to finish before that one, unless something catastrophic happens over there. So you're going to see a lot of interest going on tonight. So, like I said, we'll keep giving you guys updates. If you want to discuss this with us, 347-215-7771. Get in on the lines. Believe me, we want to hear your opinions on the potential playoff races here in Major League Baseball. And it's Tim. Look, living up here, I live right smack dab in the middle of Yankee land and Red Sox Nation. And let me tell you, Yankee fans are gloating, and Red Sox fans are ready to jump off a bridge. And I actually heard Red Sox fans on the radio on WEI talking about how their team sucks so bad right now, they don't even want them to win and get in the playoffs because it would just be for absolutely nothing. I mean, I disagree. I think if you get into the playoffs, anything can happen. But, I mean, it's just, the mood up here is so...
It's not like you're going to get a higher draft pick if you don't get in. You certainly want to get in the playoffs. And in a 7-game series, anything can happen. Certainly anything can happen if your bats get hot. I mean, obviously Boston doesn't have the pitching staff that's going to be with. They're going to have to, be in shootouts and outscore their opponent. And especially in Boston, with the short fence, that's very well possible.
Oh yeah, I mean, you look at Boston's lineup. They should have ended this thing a long time ago. But I mean, let's be fair. Boston has had some pretty key injuries throughout this season, especially later in the year. And, I mean, if they do get in, though, they have Clay Buchholz coming back. Now they find out they have this catcher, Lavarner, or whatever his name is, the guy that cracked 2 home runs last night. So Lavarnway, that's his name. So, I mean, if I'm a Red Sox fan, I would absolutely want them in the playoffs. I mean, I wouldn't want to see them not in there because, like you said, you never know what's going to happen in a 7-game series. Your bats can get hot. Next thing you know, boom. You're in the playoffs, you're in the World Series. And as we've all seen before, anything can happen in the World Series. I mean, the Red Sox have swept the Cardinals and the Rockies when they got there. Now, is this team as good as those teams? No. But if their pitching can catch fire, you have Josh Beckett and Jonathan Lester at the top of the rotation. Now you get Clay Buchholz back to bring him in as your number 3 starter. And you're sitting pretty. In a 7-game series, you can throw those guys out there, 2 or 3 times. So it's definitely going to be interesting. I would like to see a 1-game playoff with Tampa Bay and the Red Sox myself. I think it'll add to my enjoyment of watching these guys sweat it out up here. But I mean, either way, it's going to be exciting for the fans.
No doubt about it. I mean, there's nothing more exciting in a major professional sport. Than the playoff time. It's where everybody comes out. It's where everybody wants the tickets. It's where it gets exciting. And, obviously Major League Baseball is right around the corner from that happening. So, we know that the favorite team out there is the Philadelphia Phillies with that dynamic pitching staff. And, we're going to see if they can fly through the playoffs like, a lot of people are predicting they are. So, It's got my blood pumping. It's got my excitement going, and I look forward to certainly watching some of these games and seeing the outcome.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. For someone that doesn't really pay a lot of attention to baseball, I think I can definitely say without a shadow of a doubt that the Phillies are the favorites. I really think that they should roll right through everybody they meet and win the World Series. I mean, the Yankees have a good team. I don't think they have the pitching staff. The Red Sox, if they get in, they have a great team on paper and name-wise, but for some reason they're just playing crap ball. If Tampa Bay gets in, Tampa Bay has a pitching staff to match up with Philadelphia. I just don't think they have the bats. So
I'll tell you what, that Tampa Bay team is something. They got a lot of young rookies on that team that are just, playing well and pretty much, don't know any better. So the playoffs might not get their nerves going like, other rookies would, and they never know. You may be able to, win a series with that young team, and even though they're a little bit inexperienced because they're playing some great baseball.
Yeah, I mean, the best part about it is the winners out of all this thing are definitely going to be the fans. I mean, no matter which team you root for, which team you're pulling for, or if you don't have a horse in the race, you're going to see some exciting baseball in this, between tonight and then the next few weeks in the playoffs. So, just sit back, grab a couple beers, enjoy it, watch the playoffs, and, here's what I'll do. I'll make a prediction right now before the playoffs are essentially even started. it's not going out on a limb, but I think we're actually going to see the Philadelphia-New York World Series. I think we're going to get to see that rematch, and I will say I'll go with you. I think Philadelphia is going to win this year. I don't think the Yankees have enough in their pitching staff to take it.
You know, the bottom line is pitching wins games, and especially playoff games. So, you know, the Phillies did a great job in putting together that pitching staff. They put it together to carry them through the playoffs, and you know, 1 through 4, each guy has had a great year, and they're going to be tough to face. And even though you know, the Yankees have some great bats, if that series takes place, you know, I don't see it going maybe 5-6 games if Major League Baseball is lucky. So it's a scenario which would draw a lot of attention. Philadelphia and New York, 2 big markets. So it would be great for Major League Baseball if that actually takes place.
I haven't been paying attention all year, but the playoffs, for some reason, I actually start getting interested again. So, I mean, like I said, it's going to be a lot of fun. I think we still, I don't know if we have Danny B on the line yet. No, we're still waiting on Danny B. Thought he'd have called in by now.
You know, Danny B, let's not forget, last week gave out some free picks if you called in. I believe he gave out Clemson, and on air he gave out Ohio State, which both, you know, were winners, both covered. And if you followed those picks, you were able to put some extra money in your pocket. So I'll be curious to see who he's going to give out this week as a free pick to the audience. So should be exciting to hear from him.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I'm a betting man, and, you know, depending on what the odds are, the spread is, if I'm a betting man, how can you go against LSU right now? I mean, 3 wins against teams in the top 25. These guys are absolutely mowing through everybody right now. And, I mean, I can definitely understand why they got ranked number 1 ahead of Oklahoma. I mean, it's just, these guys are playing phenomenal ball right now. You didn't think you would see that with the issues that they had right before the season started.
You know, I have to agree with you with that. I thought the issues were going to cause some trouble for them, but obviously their coach has done a terrific job in preparing them. Their offense is absolutely dynamite, and going to be a situation where you know, they're going to mow some people over. They have of course, a big game this week coming up, and
you know, we have a caller on the line right now, so we'll just have them hold on just real quick while we go to break. 347-215-7771. Please join us. We want to hear from you. We want to get your opinion on everything going on in the world of sports right now. So Tim and I will be back right after this break.
This is Avery Bradley of the Boston Celtics, and you are listening to CLNS Radio.
Here's what you've been missing if you haven't heard Mike T.
Speaking of pansies, what are your feelings? 500 yards passing?
Are you going to call Tom Brady a pansy? Bite your tongue.
Could I have one or the other? Looks or good quarterback?
Here's his resume. 2 MVPs, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, 3-time Super Bowl champion. He is married to a billionaire supermodel, and he's gorgeous. He's just a gorgeous, gorgeous man. So, yeah, Mike T. It's sports and a whole lot more with my buddy Tyler Tomlinson and me, Mike Say, every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern right here on CLNSradio.com.
This is Luke Herringode, and you're listening to CLNS Radio.
CelticsBlog.com, the online community for Celtics fans. Blogging since 2004, Jeff Clark is a diehard for life. Hey, did I mention it's also family-friendly, and there's tons of ways to interact. You blog, comment, forums, chat, and now the new fan posts and fan shots. It's all part of what's going on at the rapidly expanding SB Nation community of blogs. Hey, guess what? Celtics Stuff Live simulcast from Celtics Blog every Sunday night. CelticsBlog.com to get all the latest updates and thoughtful commentary on everything from the Celtics and the NBA. So check it out at CelticsBlog.com.
Your first choice for Internet Sports Talk Radio, CLNS Radio.
As our song that intros us back into the show. I mean, that was That was absolutely hysterical. I mean, what can you say? You only get the best possible songs here on CLNS Radio. That was just friggin' amazing. So I believe we have a caller on hold. Area code 610. 610. You're with us live here on Technically Speaking. What's on your mind?
What's on my mind? I'm calling you from a different phone number. I can't get through. This is Danny Borelli.
Jesus Christ! You see, when we don't recognize the number, unbelievable. You're screwing with us right now. You're testing our mental fortitude here.
Obviously, we're excited to have Danny B back on the line real quick. I don't know if people remember, but he gave out 2 plays last week to our audience as a little bit of a courtesy. He gave out Ohio State, I believe, on air, and Danny B, correct me if I'm wrong, and when the callers called in as a free pick, he gave them out Clemson. Both covered, both were winners, and free of charge, Danny B put a little bit of money in some people's pockets, I'm sure, and I'm anxious to ask him what he feels about these playoff races and the possibility of a 1-game playoff in Tampa between Boston and Tampa. So, Danny, the floor is yours. Give us your thoughts on this pennant race.
The baseball pennant race has got to be one of the best exciting finishes to the season. You got St. Louis on top of Houston 4-0, Atlanta on top of Philadelphia, I think 3-1. Boston and Baltimore tied at 2, and Yankees knocking out Tampa Bay 5-0. So this could be very well 2 games tomorrow to decide who advances. I'm watching the Cardinal game right now, and they look like they're gonna do the job tonight.
Danny B, I don't know if he hung up or what. He was talking baseball there, and he was excited about the races going right now, as everybody is. Tim, let me get your opinion here on something that you and I both care deeply about. We'll move on from baseball. Like I said, we'll keep doing updates, but the NBA. Apparently, there's stories coming out right now that the owners are willing to back off of their hard cap stance a little bit if the players are willing to make a few concessions. Looks like the BRI split, they're starting to come closer and closer to agreeing on that. But apparently today, Osama bin Stern essentially came out and said that if the players don't agree to a deal, basically by the end of next week, that he's willing to cancel the whole season without even the possibility of a shortened season. Now, personally, I think that's just, bullshit. I think he's just kind of posturing. It looks like he's intentionally trying to get the fans and the public on the owner's side to try and make it look like the players aren't the ones willing to make a deal. But, what do you think? You think they're going to get the deal done by the end of next week? Do you think that they would be willing to risk not only playing or not having a season at all, but you think they wouldn't want to have a shortened season, even if they get a deal done before, early enough to have a shortened season?
First of all, I can't believe that came out of David Stern's mouth. Anybody knows, when you negotiate, you never put a drop-dead ultimatum like that out on the table, because it's certainly never going to, hold up. He's trying to posture, but I think he's going overboard here a little bit with, stating that if a deal's not done, he's going to cancel the whole season by next week. I don't see a deal certainly not getting done by next week, and it's a situation where he's trying to send panic mode through these players, because as of right now, they're not cracking. But one thing I found foolish that the players did was put out there in the media that the owners are divided and someone, to get a deal done with no hard cap, and others want the hard cap. If that's not a comment that could bring the owners closer together, I don't know what is. I think Derek Fisher certainly made a huge mistake putting that out in the media, the way he did.
See, the thing is, I think that the problem with that is, and the owners and Stern know that Fisher is telling the truth. You look at some of these owners here, and look at a guy like Robert Sarver. He's been basically dumping salary for years, trying to save money, letting go of talented players, essentially putting subpar product on the floor. And, it's pretty clear that, he doesn't care about getting the season back in full swing. Same thing, I think, with Dan Gilbert. And then you have owners like Wick Grossbeck and, Jerry Buss, probably even, what's-his-face, the Fat Slob in Chicago. You have owners that want to play a full season where it would actually hurt them to not have a season, and I really think there is a divide amongst the owners here.
Well, I mean, there's no doubt about it. When you talk about negotiations and you talk about seasons not taking place, everybody is on edge and everybody wants to see this thing get worked out as quickly as possible. But the bottom line is that there's some issues out there that the owners want to get corrected. I've said this time and time again that these new owners are businessmen, and not only are they businessmen, but they're entitled to make money. And they're going to make sure that happens. And, to think that a deal is going to get done that's going to be along the lines of what's been out there the last couple years is just certainly not going to happen. I mean, whether you want to say that a hard cap is in place or not and come off of that, whatever contract is signed, there's going to be some form or some version of a hard cap, whether it's, the penalty for going over the salary cap before was a dollar for dollar, what they call a luxury tax. I certainly believe that if there's not a hard cap in place, that they're going to have some type of clause in there that it's no longer a dollar for dollar luxury tax. And, no owner is going to want to sign a player to these big contracts over their cap and pay 5 times of what they're actually supposed to pay the guy. So there's going to be certain things that they're going to get done, whether it's, quote, a hard cap or not. The NBA salaries are going to come to a complete and screeching halt like they did in hockey when they sat out that whole year.
Well, look, just for a point of reference here, the owners are sitting here crying poor, which I think is absolutely hysterical. But then an article came out showing the Forbes 400 list, the list of the top 400 most wealthiest people in the world, and there are 12 NBA owners on that list as we speak. Paul Allen from Portland, Rich DeVos from Orlando, Mickey Arison from Miami, Stan Kroenke from Denver, Tom Gores from Detroit, Mark Cuban, that's obvious, Glenn Taylor, the owner of the Timberwolves, Herb Simon from the Pacers, Dan Gilbert from Cleveland, Michael Heisley from Memphis, Donald Sterling from the Clippers, and Joshua Harris, the owner of the Philadelphia 76ers. These guys are all in the top 400 wealthiest people in the world. So for these guys to sit there and cry poor, I think it's absolutely ridiculous because
Mike, hold on a second.
Yep.
Mike, they can cry poor all they want. They can say whatever they want to say. When you own a business, which the NBA is, you're entitled to make a profit. You're entitled to set your own rules. You're the owner. When you're at a workplace and you don't like what you're being paid, you always have the option of getting up and going somewhere else. Okay? These players have the option of getting up and going somewhere else if they don't like the new collective bargaining agreement. The bottom line is, as these guys want to make money, it's a business. And they're going to, and they're entitled to. And I don't think that the public perception is going to be on the side of the players with the amount of money that they make for playing a sport. I just don't see it. I think that people, including yourself, are siding with these players, and I don't agree with it at all. I'm sorry. I just think it's it's a business, and the owners are able to set the rules.
Well, here's the thing. Look, yes, everybody knows if you own a business, you want to make a profit. You want to essentially determine what's going to happen with your business. But at the same time, if you don't have a product, here's the thing. You also can't compare the NBA as a business to regular businesses. It just doesn't work like that because not everybody's in their entertainment business. The players are the product. It's entertainment. It's sports. People don't go to the Boston Garden or the Staples Center. People don't go there to see the owners. They don't go there to see guys in suits. They go there to see the entertainers, which are the players on the floor. Now, let's just look back here to what the owners and David Stern have been saying essentially for the last few months. They're saying that they have been losing money since 2005. Well, if people remember, 2005 was when they signed the last CBA. On that CBA, they got the players to essentially concede to everything that the owners wanted. So the owners got their deal. It happened in 98, 99, too, when the players had to cave in because they weren't financially prepared. But in 2005, the players conceded to basically every owner's demand, and the owners got what they wanted. Now, they're saying they've been losing money since 2005. Well, when you sign a collective bargaining agreement, when you sign a business deal, you basically project what you think is going to happen over the length of that deal. So these owners have to be the dumbest sons of bitches out there to sign a deal that's knowingly going to cost them money that isn't going to benefit them. And now they're mad about it.
Again, we can debate this till the cows come home. And one thing I will agree with you on, it's no secret David Stern's a liar. It's no secret that he tries to, cook the books or whatever else he's trying to put out there. But the bottom line is, and I'm going to say it again, it's a business. And if they want to make X amount of dollars with their business plan in their business, they're entitled to do that. And that's what they want to do. And the players are entitled to go overseas, to get involved in a different league and move in a different direction, just like any other unhappy employee of any other business.
But Tim, these guys, the players are the product. The players are the business.
But if they don't want to put the product on the floor at that price, that's their prerogative. So go somewhere else.
But the players are the business, for one. And, yes,
yeah,
sure.
But if you don't want to put that business on, you're not going to. Obviously, it's their ball. And until they roll it out and they're happy with what the income is going to be for them, they're not going to roll that ball out. So the bottom line is, if you're unhappy with what they're offering, go somewhere else.
But you're missing the point here. The players aren't the ones.
Well, help me. I want to learn. Tell me, what point am I missing?
The players didn't go on strike. The players didn't say, well, we don't like the money we're making. We want to hold out for more money. That's not what's going on. The owners are the ones saying, oh, crap, we signed a bad deal. We're paying you guys this money. We've agreed to give you guys X amount of dollars. We're not.
Yeah, but that deal's over. That collective bargaining agreement is over. Now we're negotiating a new one. Just like in any other business, you negotiate what you're going to pay and what you're going to take in.
But why should the players have to give back, already pre-promised money to these guys that don't know how to run a business? And let's not forget, the numbers that they're saying they're losing, that's depreciation and interest that's included in that. So that $300 million is absolutely bogus. It is absolutely bogus.
I don't care if it was $1. I don't care if they were profiting like you wouldn't believe. They're entitled to make as much money as they want in order to roll that ball out there. And if you don't want to sign the agreement, go somewhere else.
Okay, did the players pay themselves? Are these players paying themselves these outrageous salaries?
No, obviously the owners are moronic in some of these contracts that are allowing these GMs to sign, but still, it's their game. And they're entitled to make as much money as they want. And if not, if you're not happy, pick yourself up and find somewhere else to go.
Well, here's the thing. These owners a lot of these guys haven't been lifetime owners. I mean, you look at some of these guys, and they've owned their teams for a while. I think the guy it's not the guy in Philadelphia. No, there's a couple owners out there that have owned their teams for a long time.
Mickey Harrison, probably 20 years out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Buss family has owned the Lakers for a while. Sterling has been in charge of the Clippers for a while. There are owners out there that have owned their teams for a long time. But then you look at these guys that come in, they want to buy a team just to say they own a team, and then they're mad when it doesn't work out the way they want. Again, not the player's fault.
What do you mean it doesn't work out? You're buying a business to make money. I don't know too many people, no matter how much money you have, that want to get involved in something and not give a shit if you lose money.
But when you're the reason that you're losing money, why is that the employee's fault?
It's not. It's the system in place. So therefore, get a system in place where everybody is under the same set of circumstances. You can pay a certain amount in salaries. It's fixed. They know what their cost certainty is. Whether they can control themselves or not, that's their problem. Here it's set in stone.
Okay, now let me ask you this. Now look, I agree with you that players get paid a ridiculous amount of money. I mean, I think we both agree. I think most fans out there generally agree that athletes don't necessarily need to get paid $20-25 million a season. I don't think we're in disagreement on that. But when you're promised a certain amount of money and then you have a contract, because let's be honest here, there's a lot of players who still have a contract. These owners right now, they're asking the players to give back some of the money that they've already agreed to in the contract.
They're not asking to give back anything, Mike. Contract stated that if certain things took place and certain things were triggered, that certain salaries needed to give back a percentage. The players agreed to that. It's nothing new. It's nothing that's now just coming out of thin air. It's something that was in that last agreement, that if player salaries went over a certain amount or if NBA owners didn't get a certain amount, it would come out of the salaries. And that's what's taking place. The players signed that. They agreed to that.
But now they're asking for another reduction in salaries, of existing salaries. They want a 5% decrease this year, 7.5% reduction for the 2012-2013 year, and a 10% reduction for 2013-2014. They're asking these guys to cut their salaries for contracts they've already agreed to.
Go somewhere else.
Why? Well, I mean, so what you're saying is the owners are allowed to back out on a deal that they've already agreed to.
They're not backing out. Bottom line is there's a collective bargaining agreement in place. And if they sign it, it's part of the collective bargaining agreement. If you don't want to sign it, sit out and see how long you can play chicken.
So
you're not going to win.
So you think that these owners saying, well, give us back the money or go play somewhere else because we don't need you think it's going to be better off business-wise for the Stars to go play somewhere else because the owners are a bunch of stupid businessmen? You think that's going to help their product? You think that's going to earn their business more money? No. They're going to lose more money. If you don't have the product to put on the floor, you're going to lose a lot more money.
They're going to have a product, but the bottom line is some owners don't want to put that product out on the floor because they're losing more money by playing these games, opening these arenas, and paying these salaries rather than getting a new collective bargaining agreement in place to where they can be profitable.
See, I think the problem completely lies with the owners. I think that you have certain owners that just don't care. They don't care about the product they put on the floor. They can argue hard cap, soft cap all they want. If teams that suck can only spend $45 million when you had essentially no salary cap, you could have a luxury tax. What makes you think that they're going to be able to spend $60 million for a hard cap when they couldn't do it when they essentially had all the money in the world to play with? It just makes absolutely no sense to me. I think you have too many guys that, yes, it's a business, but at the same time, you have to be smart. You have to realize that you have to be a fan of what's going on. You have to care about your business. And if you don't care about the business and you're only doing it because, well, guess what, I want to own a basketball team, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons and you need to sell. Because these guys aren't losing as much money as they say they are. If you look at this summer we had 4 new ownership groups come into place. Teams aren't going to buy into bad businesses.
Right.
If not, they're idiots.
You're looking at this as what it's been in the past as a hobby for some of these owners, like a Mark Cuban who has billions of dollars. It's not anymore. It's not anymore. I know we're up against the break. Great segment. Let's go to commercial break, and when we come back, we'll talk about this Michael Vick, Tom Brady situation and how quarterbacks are either protected or not in some of these games that are taking place.
Hey sports fans, Tim Donaghy here from the Sports Connection. I know the NBA better than anybody. That's why you need to call 1-800-308-9003 for today's free pick.
Thanks a lot, Timmy D. It's been a great year. Thanks to you. Guys, this is Danny D. Make sure you pick up that phone like Tim said. Give us a call for today's free pick at 1-800-308-9003 or visit us at DannyBeersandBoy.info.
Mike Mackey here, host of Crunch Time with Mac Attack, the show giving you all the news and updates in the sports week, airing live every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on CLNSradio.com. For the next 5 weeks, Crunch Time with Mac Attack is partnering up with our friends at the popular website BustedTees.com to give away a free t-shirt code to one lucky caller each show for the next 5 weeks. BustedTees.com is one of the most well-known shirt designing companies on the web today. And even if you don't win the free shirt, everyone is a winner. Because when you head over to the Crunch Time with Mac Attack show page on CLNSradio.com and you find the Busted Tees logo in the advertisement section, you will also find yourself a coupon code to be used on the site. So tune in to Crunch Time with Mac Attack, Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, live on CLNSradio.com for your chance to win a free shirt with free shipping and handling from BustedTees.com. You don't want to miss out on this one.
CLNSradio.com, the home of Internet Sports Talk Radio.
Hey, this is Tim Romanella at K&M All-Star Sports. You're listening to Technically Speaking on CLNS Radio. Back to you, Mike and Tim.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Technically Speaking, Mike Munger, Scotsman, Tim Donaghy, 347-215-7771. If you want to join us, give us your opinions here. Right now, what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit of NFL right now. We're going to talk about this whole Michael Vick crybaby situation. There's a couple things that we got to get into here, but let me just say, And, Tim, I read your article. I mean, it was very well written. I can see why you said what you said because of your experience as a professional referee. And, yes, there is a human factor when it comes to officiating a game. You're just going to have your referees that don't like you, that have personal biases. And I don't disagree with that aspect of it. But at the same time, Michael Vick coming out and essentially crying about calls that weren't made, for what? Watching that game, there wasn't one single questionable call for that goddamn crybaby to bitch about. I mean, they talk about the hit that Chris Canty put on him, the one that basically injured his right hand, which, by the way, isn't broken. It's just a contusion or something. So he completely overplayed that one. But on that hit, and here are the rules. If you're going after the quarterback, if he releases the ball and you still take 2 steps after he releases that ball, then you get flagged for a late hit. If he throws that ball and you try and pull up, but you're still close enough where you hit him, but you're not fully launching yourself into him, it is not a late hit. It's fine. You can knock him down. And watching the replay, Chris Canty didn't drive this guy into the ground. He didn't pick him up and slam him. He didn't go helmet to helmet. He didn't lead with his head. He put his shoulder pad right into Vick's shoulder pad. Vick put his right hand up to protect himself, and he got hurt. So for Michael Vick to sit there and cry and bitch, I don't get the calls that other quarterbacks do, which is wrong, and I'll get into that in a minute, Tim. I mean, it's absolute bullcrap, and he made himself look like a complete soft pansy, in my opinion.
All right. You done?
For now.
All right. Now listen to me. Obviously, I don't agree with Vick taking his, comments to the press like that. He certainly did look like a whining little baby. But I will tell you this. I watched the play. Okay, I have it on my Facebook page. A flag should have been thrown on the play, and I'm going to tell you why. I read the rules today. Obviously, if a defensive lineman does not pull up after the ball is released, he's allowed a step. Not only was Chris Canty allowed to take that step, he took another step. And not only did he take another step after the ball was released, the initial contact was helmet to helmet. Okay? And that's a flag. Further, in the rule book in the NFL, it's stated that if an official is confronted with doubt in any way, shape, or form, he should err on the side throwing the flag. Okay? Now, I've seen a lot when I've refereed Michael Jordan. I've seen Michael Jordan go to the hole and think he was fouled, look over at the referee, and get a whistle. Okay? I've seen Tom Brady get knocked to the ground, no flag, look over at the referee, and have a flag come out. Okay? There's different sets of circumstances for different types of players, and it's no doubt in my mind that, Michael Vick is not getting the flags that somebody like Tom Brady or Peyton Manning would get. And he's not the only guy. I saw the Eagles defense knock the living shit out of Matt Ryan of the Atlanta Falcons several times when a flag should have been thrown. So this isn't a situation where I'm just rooting for the Philadelphia Eagles because I grew up there. It's a situation where I see this taking place. I see these looks that, certain players give officials and are able to get a late flag.
See, well, here's the thing. Look, I will agree with you that quarterbacks right now are the most overprotected athletes in the NFL. I mean, the rules have changed so much because the NFL is promoting offense. You're not going to see a dominant defense anymore, just the way the rules are. We'll agree on that. The quarterbacks are highly protected. And yes, Matt Ryan got absolutely destroyed in that game against Philadelphia that you're talking about. The guy came in, I believe it was Jason Babin or maybe Trent Cole came in, tried to rip his head off. And there was no flag, which, there should have been a flag just because he went straight to the head. In the Giants-Philadelphia game, right in front of the referee, I believe it was Trent Cole. He was hand fighting with the lineman. Eli was within arm's distance. He reached out, grabbed his face mask, yanked it to the side. Eli broke free, and then he ended up scrambling left, right in front of the referee, no flag. Now, we're not talking about like a hit here. We're talking about obvious penalties to the quarterback's heads that weren't called. So, I mean, yes, quarterbacks are protected. It's ridiculous. But to your point about Michael Vick not getting the calls that he deserves, you're absolutely wrong because from the beginning of last year up through week 3 of this year, Michael Vick has gotten more personal foul flags thrown for him than Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, and Aaron Rodgers combined. Okay,
let me ask you this: because he's getting flags thrown for him, you're telling me that because he gets hit late on a couple that they should just ignore them? I mean, you really didn't address the fact that you've said you looked at the replay with Canty. Are you telling me that he didn't take more than one step before contact was made with the quarterback? And are you telling me that initial contact wasn't helmet to helmet?
It wasn't helmet. Watch the replay again. I don't know what Philadelphia replay you're looking at, but it was shoulder to shoulder. The guy's shoulder pad hit. Michael Vick's right hand was up.
It was his helmet connecting with Michael Vick's helmet and shoulder. And the rule clearly states if it is initial contact with head-to-head or head-to-shoulder, it's a flag. They didn't throw the flag. The play should have been a flag, and it wasn't thrown. And I just can't believe that you can't look at this replay and admit the fact that the official missed the play.
Well, I tell you what, because if you think I'm wrong about it, then what you're saying is you think Mark Schlereth is wrong about it, Trent Dilfer's wrong about it, Tim Hasselbeck is wrong about it, because all three of them on national television, on national radio, even said, this guy's full of crap. He's absolutely full of crap to sit there and complain about it. I mean,
what I'm telling you is that they are wrong, and I've seen LeBron James take 3 steps and move his pivot foot twice in key situations in NBA playoff games, and not one goddamn announcer mentioned that play was missed. Okay? So, yeah, I think that they're flat out wrong, and I think that they certainly are protecting the NFL when they're not calling a referee out for doing that. Absolutely I am.
See, the difference between the NFL and the NBA will never admit that there's anything wrong with their officiating. I think you and I both can agree on that. The NBA is so hush-hush over the officiating. If you say something bad, you get criticized. Well, you watch any NFL game each week, if there's something that even looks like a questionable call, they got former head of NFL officiating, Mike Pereira, on the line on TV to have him discuss a call, whether or not it was right, it's wrong, what they think is going to happen. So the NFL takes the officiating very seriously.
Let me ask you this, why do you think that they didn't put him on TV and ask him about that play?
Because it wasn't a late hit. There was nothing controversial about it. Nothing whatsoever.
They didn't put him on TV and ask him about it because they didn't want to embarrass themselves by him being honest and saying it should have been a flag. That's why he wasn't on TV.
They're not covering up any. Why would they want to cover something up for a guy that gets more calls?
Look at the video. You're telling me when you look at that video, that's not him taking an extra step and making contact with the quarterback. Not only does he make contact, it's helmet to helmet.
I didn't say he didn't make contact, but he didn't. It wasn't a late hit. It was not a late hit. You even said yourself that you could still take that extra step. And when you watch the video, if they showed it from a different angle, which you don't see all that often, Chris Canty slowed up. He even slowed up, and he still managed to get the step in there that he's allowed and hit him on his shoulder.
Slowed up. Show me in the rules where it says if it slows up that we're going to allow him to knock the quarterback on his ass. I don't see that anywhere.
When Michael Vick released the ball, Chris Canty was already in the process of making his tackle. He wasn't taking 2 extra steps, leading him with his helmet. He hit him smack dab on the shoulder with his shoulder.
Look at the video. Stop it like I did as soon as that ball is released and see where Chris Canty's at. See how many steps he takes after the ball's out of Michael Vick's hand, and see what happens when the initial contact takes place when it's face mask to face mask.
Well, let me ask you this. As a Philadelphia fan, how come you're not more pissed off at the offensive line or the offensive coordinator for putting him in this position to begin with? The guy holds onto the ball way too long in the pocket, like he essentially wants to make a play with his legs because he doesn't trust his arm. You watch guys like Brady and Manning, they get rid of the ball. Hike, snap, boom. They're getting rid of the ball. Mike Vick puts himself in this position.
Sure he does, but there's a set of rules in place to protect him from getting injured. Okay, no doubt about it. Brady and Manning get rid of the ball quickly, and because of that, avoid a lot of contact that Mike Vick doesn't. That doesn't mean that you're going to allow them to take 1 or 2 steps and make helmet-to-helmet contact with them. It doesn't mean that.
Here's the thing. Michael Vick came out and said, and this is what he said. He didn't say anything about this year. He didn't say anything specific. He made a general blanket statement. I'm not getting the same calls that other quarterbacks in the NFL are. And I can't remember if he specifically mentioned Brady, Manning, or whatever, but he made it come out and seem like he's some kind of poor sap that's not getting the same calls as the other quarterbacks. Well, statistics, and this came out the very next day on ESPN First Take. One of the 2 live Stews. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, Tim. The Stewart brothers. They have their own show down south. One of them came out and said, "I have the stats right here." And this is the one I threw out earlier, and I'll throw it out again. From last season into this season, Michael Vick has been given more personal flag 15-yard penalties than the other 4 elite quarterbacks combined.
I'm going to agree with you on that, and I'm going to agree with you that the way Michael Vick handled it was him being a flat-out pussy. I'm going to say it, but the bottom line is play wasn't enforced as the rules are written in the rule book. You take a look at the play, like I've taken a look at the play. I want you to go back after this is over. I want you to look at it again. He takes an extra step, and he makes helmet-to-helmet contact. A flag should have been thrown. That is the bottom line.
See, I'm always going to disagree with you until the day that we die that it wasn't an illegal hit. If you hit a quarterback on his shoulder with your shoulder pad, especially when you're already in the midst of a tackle, I mean, I've seen Philadelphia fans complaining about the hit where Michael Vick suffered that, I guess you can call it a minor concussion. The guy was already tackling him. When you have a guy in your grasp, you're allowed to finish.
I have no problem with that. He ran into his own man. But I'm telling you that I've seen this on the floor in NBA games to where Michael Jordan goes to the basket, felt that he was fouled, looks over at the referee, and all of a sudden the flag comes out. I've seen Tom Brady do the same thing on TV. I don't know that you've seen those things. I know you've seen your kid probably give you a funny look when you didn't put enough sugar on his Cheerios, but I don't think you've been in the situations that I've seen that make these flags or these whistles blown that work for some of these star status players.
Oh, everybody sees. I mean, they came out with a friggin' Brady rule. You know, it's funny. Carson Palmer got his leg rolled up by the Pittsburgh defensive lineman. Nobody said shit. Tom Brady, has his leg hit when his own man pushed the defender into his knee, and all of a sudden now you can't go low on a quarterback anymore. Yes, it's absolutely disgusting. Brady, Manning barely gets tapped on his helmet. These guys are getting their flags. We're not disagreeing on that aspect of it. But the fact that Michael Vick came out and said he's not getting the calls, that's the issue. That is the absolute issue here. Him saying he's not getting the calls. I think if you look at it, the rate at which quarterback, I believe the stat is for as much as quarterbacks drop back, the NFL average on percentage of how many flags they get in their favor is 2.3%. That's the NFL average. Michael Vick is at a 2.7%. So he's above the league average.
Are you telling me Tom Brady doesn't get special treatment?
Oh, I think he absolutely does. I think quarterbacks in general get special treatment. You don't see anybody complaining when a running back or a defensive back or a back or
come on, Mike, you're not making sense. They don't get special treatment. There's a set of rules out in a rule book, and the officials are to enforce those rules as they're written.
I think in general the quarterback
play under a different set of rules. Yeah, and you admitted it. Tom Brady gets special treatment, right?
I never said. I said quarterbacks in general get special treatment.
They don't get special treatment. There's a set of rules that are in place. Okay, so that's what the NFL wants out there to prevent those star players from getting injured. But they all don't play under the same set of rules. Some are given an advantage if that player hits them versus what other players are given. That's what's taking place.
And look, we're up against it. We got 60 seconds left. Let me close with this. Every quarterback takes a lot of hits. Every quarterback thinks that they deserve more flags. Michael Vick already gets more than everybody else. For him to make that statement, it's 100% false. Now, when you look at it, as a quarterback, Michael Vick likes to scramble outside the pocket. He likes to run a lot. That's a big reason why he gets cracked a lot more than everybody else. Pocket passers that deliver the ball faster get hit less than somebody like Michael Vick, who likes to use his athleticism to try and make plays on the outside. So, of course, he's going to get a hit more. I think even you can agree with me on that. So, we got about 30 seconds left. Tim, look, hell of a show. A lot of heated debates here. You and I are never going to see eye to eye when it comes to this whole Michael Vick situation, but I tell you right now, it's a hell of a debate to have with any kind of fans out there. So, great show, man, and I look forward to talking to you again next week.
You got it, buddy.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. CLNS Radio.
If you're blue and you're gonna want to go to